Before we get into this video, I want to let you know that I am teaching a tarot course this fall. So if you're interested, look at the link in the description below. And of course, if you're interested in working with me one-on-one, everything you need to know is in the description below. Let's get into this video. Hello there. Welcome or welcome back. My name is Lightworker Whit, and I'm so excited to get into your new moon in Virgo, the first of two, in 2025. Now, we've got a lot to cover, so let me tell you what we're going to get into. We're going to look into your overall spread for the new moon in Virgo that I like to use. If you're not new here, then you know I like to use the spread by Biddy Tarot, and I'm going to go and get into that for each sign. But I'm also going to draw an oracle card, or just see what jumps out from the Queen of the Moon Oracle deck. Now, the spread I'm going to use is what have I released? Where am I now? What is emerging within me? What do I wish to grow? How can I bring my goals and intentions to fruition? And what additional resources are available to me as I manifest my goals? This is a spread that I like to use personally, and I've been using it here on my channel for a long time now. If you don't really know how the moon cycles work, basically every 2 weeks we're going through a new moon and a full moon phase, right? So right now we're coming into the first new moon in Virgo. We're going to have another one in September during our eclipses, which is rare, but I'm not going to get into that. I'm sure other astrologers are. What's important here for me as it relates to my channel and my content, when we have a new moon, the content that I'm going to be sharing with you is going to play out. I'm just going to bring you up just a smidge. Is going to play out over the next 2 weeks as we lead up to the full moon. So for example, the position of what is emerging within me is likely what's going to be in your awareness probably at the 26th of August. Okay, the new moon is on the 23rd. I'm fairly certain. And so when I think about what's emerging, within me at this time, that's what's going to be pretty much present in your awareness by the time the new moon has kind of reached its completion and its fullness, right? And the position of what additional resources are available to me as I manifest my goals, that to me is what's likely to be unfolding right before we get into the full moon. I want to say it's in Aries. Let me check. Excuse me, it's in Pisces. It's in Pisces on the 7th, okay? All right, so I hope that made sense to you. So basically, even though we're looking at this new moon, it's energy that's going to play out over the next 2 weeks is what I'm saying. The strongest energy is 3 days before and 3 days after, but everything else kind of like unfolds along the 2 weeks, okay? So that's how I want you to interpret these new moon readings, these full moon readings, any lunar readings of mine. They're really relevant for 2 weeks, okay? So with that being said, let's see what we get for the theme of this new moon as it relates to you guys, my lovely, beautiful people, my beautiful souls. And speaking of beautiful souls, thank you so much to my Lightkeepers. I appreciate you. I love you so much. Thank you for supporting my channel. You guys get exclusive access to my monthly forecast, and I'm very excited to be delivering my September forecast to you. If you're interested in joining, the link is below, okay? Let's see what jumps out as far as the theme of this new moon in Virgo, the first of two, for the Lightworker community. Okay, we've got peace, which I'm happy to see here. I'm very happy to see here. 28. I have wall to wall in my head. I've just been listening to so much Chris Brown. I went to the concert, and I feel like I was in a relationship with Chris Brown. That's how I feel, actually. And I'm wall to wall is in my head right now, and I'm just like, I don't hear nothing but ladies call it. Oh my God. So I'm so sorry if I just break out in song and Chris Brown, okay? Here's the message. Peace of mind is one of the greatest gifts we can give ourselves. Refuse drama and do not freely engage with people who use drama as a weapon. Stop fighting. Allow yourself to rest for a while. When we let what we no longer need go, we make room for peace. The affirmation is, I choose to create and hold peace. I allow this to ripple out into the world. This is a really long message, so let's just tune in. And I think I'm actually going to want to draw a card from here. I'm just feeling called to pick a card from my essential oil deck, but I'll get through this first. We are an anxious bunch, us modern folk. We are constantly stimulated or not stimulated enough. We find it hard to sleep. Insomnia is at record levels in the Western world. And for some, we self-medicate with food, devices, drama, and work. We seek peace, but we don't know how to go about it particularly well. Peace can begin with a series of decisions we make. For example, we can decide we can't control everything. Shock. The ancient Greek Stoics had a great strategy here, advising a split of your issues into I can control this and I have no control over this. Think about the most pressing and worrying issues you have right now, or the situations that are giving you the most sleepless nights. Then break them down into pieces and place them under the correct heading. Be honest and discerning. What you will find is that most of your situations or issues are under the second heading. The Stoics advise that the things listed there, which is things you can't control, things listed there deserve no more of your attention because they are actually out of your control. Wow! However, things under I can control this are important, and you must action these to the best of your ability. These are those things you will influence and where you will glean the most change. While this seems a simple system, I promise you it will give you far less worry about and it will give you far less to worry about and instantly more peace. We can be more focused and mindful about what we are doing in real time. We can place ourselves deliberately in sessions in quiet, beautiful, and peaceful environments. We can learn what for us brings our body rest and peace. We can choose to not do the head miles of worry. Worry is, after all, chewing gum for the mind. Not really nutritious in any way, but something to do. When we let go of what we no longer really need, peace floods in, taking up this old space and healing it. The companion stone is amethyst. I have a lovely amethyst stone in my kit, but here's a little baby piece of amethyst if you'd like to see it. If you don't know what amethyst looks like, here's a little bit amethyst. A little tiny amethyst point. Okay. I know that was a lot to take in, but you get the message. So this new moon is bringing in peace. Love that for us. I want to just see what jumps out of the essential oil deck. What do you have for my followers, my subscribers, please, Spirit? What message do they need at this time for the collective to go along with peace? Okay. We've got two messages here. Okay, third eye chakra. Pause it if you need to. The trigger statement to release, I am stuck. Let that go. True statement to embrace, I am filled with possibility. Allow yourself to float up above any thoughts or emotions and see what is needed for you to process them and move forward. Work with peppermint in order to do that. I feel like that's kind of on brand with like peace, of like know what you need to do to move on. And then we've got sacral chakra here. Pause this if you need to. Trigger statement to release, why am I here? Let that go. True statement to embrace, I make a difference. You will have the motivation you need to express your light. Know that what you do today makes the world a better place. This isn't necessarily an oil or an herb to work with, but it's a blend card, so this is like invigorating. I do like that the colors here go along with the card of peace. You see kind of like the oranges here and the blues being kind of like playing in. Color theory is important. Color theory is important. So I'm going to lay that out here. Drop some comments if that's resonating with you, okay? I'm going to leave that here, and I'm going to get set up for Aries, okay? Now, I encourage you to watch for your sun sign. I do these for sun signs, but I encourage you to watch your moon and your rising as well, okay? All right, let's go. All right, Aries. Hi, baby. Here we go. What have you released? We've got the Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is typically about endings, defeat. We can say losses, but it's usually about endings. I don't know why I just thought about, remember those things when you were kids, like stiff and night, and you're like, the road runs down, you like those little like back things, like Spiders crawling up your back, spiders crawling down your back, crisscross applesauce. Like, I kind of get, in my mind, I just saw that for the Ten of Swords, to stick a knife in your back, let the blood run down. I don't mean to be morbid. But there's some sort of defeat, betrayal, or ending that you have either initiated or just went through by the time you're seeing this video, okay? So I don't know where you are in that process, but there's something that needed to end apparently for you. Where you are now is Seven of Swords. Seven of Swords is deception, escapism, running away. I often refer to it as strategy here on my channel. So it could be a number of things. For me though, given what else I have around me, I mean, I always look at it, I tend to look at it as strategy in terms of where you are now. But it's more than just strategy, because with this Ten of Swords energy here, Aries, there's something that happened where you're like, you know what, I'm not dealing with this bullshit no more. And you're trying to figure out a way to not let this happen again. Whatever this is, whatever ended, whatever defeat you experienced or had to initiate, you're like, I don't want to go through this again. So you're trying to figure out ways now to make a better life for yourself, is what I see with the Seven of Swords. What is emerging within you? This card did fall out as I was shuffling. It's the Nine of Cups. The Nine of Cups is wish fulfillment, happiness, joy, contentment. This will likely be, truthfully, a good new moon for you, Aries. There's a blessing on the other side of this ending. Whatever didn't work out, you had to go through, grow through, in order to make space, right? Remember, for the peace, make space for this blessing. What was interesting is the next card that I had picked was the Ten of Cups in terms of what you wish to grow. Ten of Cups is big happy family, dreams come true. Whereas the Nine of Cups is a singular wish fulfillment, the Ten of Cups is dreams come true. So imagine getting a raise, but then also getting your dream job. You see what I'm saying? Like, that's the difference, right? Of really creating the life you desire, really enjoying that, your relationships, your family, your connections. You really just want better relationships in your life. And I see you really succeeding in that. There's some dead weight. There's something that you had to cut off so that this could be possible, Aries. How you can bring your goals and intention to fruition. We've got the Knight of Wands here, which does represent the fire signs, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. So for me, this is about you being very ambitious, very intent on your pursuit, whatever it is you're trying to achieve. Like, you're not in a, before I say this, I do think there's a time and a place for being still and attracting the energy you want to receive, and just kind of like accepting and believing that what you want will find you. But then I also feel that there is also a time to go seek out what you want through action, through purpose, through putting yourselves in the environment that you are most likely to experience what you desire. And I feel that that's how you are actually going about achieving this Ten of Cups energy. You're not, again, strategic. You're not just like, oh, just maybe something better will come along. You're actively pursuing the goal. That Virgo energy is really present in you right now, Aries, where you're not just like delusional. You're not kind of like, oh, well, maybe one day. I'm thinking about, I just heard Liza Minnelli. Is it Liza Minnelli? Maybe this time. Maybe this time, I'll need daddy, that nobody loves me. Maybe this time. But all the odds are they're in my favor. Something's about to begin. It's gonna happen sometime. Maybe this time I'll win. Like it's an old old Broadway song. That is not a pop song that I would expect you to know. But I encourage you to look it up. You know Spirit speaks to me through music, and there's no reason that I was thinking about that song at all. I wasn't playing it. I wasn't thinking about it. But it's in my Rolodex, my musical library, and that's just what Spirit gave me, okay? All right, so what additional resources are available to you? We have the Nine of Wands. Not surprised to see this here. This is resilience, perseverance, not giving up. You've been through so much, but don't let this one defeat knock you down. Don't let this one defeat, and can I really just say, I say this with a heavy heart because I personally just went through something that was very disappointing, something that I expected to go well and it didn't. And it is so easy. And I'm really not saying this from a place, I'm really not saying this from a place of put your chin up and you'll get through. Like, I'm saying this from a place of I know how hard it is to stay positive after experiencing a defeat, after experiencing a betrayal. What I am saying to you is with this Nine of Wands, you don't have to condition or brainwash yourself to believe that's okay. What I want is on its way to me. You don't have to brainwash yourself with toxic positivity. You get to feel upset while also believing that there's something better for you. You know, you don't have to brainwash yourself and think, oh, this was just a journey on my path and what's next for me is going to be better. And da-da-da. Like, sometimes shit was just fucked up. Sometimes shit was just fucked up, and you just kind of have to sit and be like, okay, source, why did I have to go through that? Why? And in the moment, you might not know why, but what you can know in this moment is that you're supposed to keep going. Okay? I really hope that's helpful. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and your rising as well. Let's clear this and move on to Taurus. Hello, beautiful Taurus. Okay. Okay. What have you released? We have the Strength card. Strength card is oftentimes Leo energy in case a Leo is connected to you in some way. Now I look at what have I released in two ways. What have I released in terms of what have I let go? What have I shed? And also what have I released in terms of what have I released out into the world? This is one of those cards where I am leaning more towards what you've released out into the world in terms of strength, that there's something that you are leaning into strength for, something that's causing you to lean into your strength, to lean into your resilience. Yeah. There's something that's causing you to like push through and persevere and really muster up whatever you have left in reserves to get through a really trying and difficult situation and circumstance. Now, again, in terms of release, what have you let go? Maybe this is that you no longer need to lean on your strength or lean into being the strong one. You take however this resonates for you. Where you are now, we've got the Three of Pentacles. This is teamwork, collaboration, working together. It doesn't always have to be two people. This could just be with one person, but there's a collaborative effort forming within you. Now, something has changed within me. I'm very musical today, guys. Just roll with it. Like, there's something for you that's just like, okay, I need to work with other people. I can't do this by myself. That's where you are now. Now this could be in any area of your life: work, a creative project, a personal project, personal finances. And the Pentacles often points towards material, which is why I'm bringing up finances. But it could relate to emotional. It could. What's emerging within you is Ace of Pentacles, a new opportunity being offered to you. A new offer is coming to you, something that has the potential to grow. You don't always have to take what is presented to you, but something is coming to you. You are attracting a new opportunity. So keep your eyes open, okay? How you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition. We have the Justice card. The Justice card does connect to Libra energy, so there could be a Libra that is important to you. The Justice card is also about karma, getting what you deserve, balance and fairness, and justice, of course. So this could be that the legal system is how you can get what you need done, administrative things to get what you need done, relying on the system to get what you need done. Which is really what I feel the message is, relying on the system in some way to get what you need. Especially if you feel like you've been wronged in some way, given the Strength card here. You know, you've had to persevere. Maybe Mercury retrograde really threw you for a loop, and now you're having to lean into the system to try to get to right or wrong or some sort. You know, does that make sense? How you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition. Seven of Swords. Did I say that? The Justice was what you wish to grow. Let me be very clear. The Justice is what you wish to grow. So you wish to grow balance and karma and maybe a connection with a Libra. But this is using your resources, using the powers that be to get what you want. Now, in order to get there, we have the Seven of Swords, how to bring your goals and intention to fruition. Seven of Swords is often strategy, deception, deceitfulness, sometimes kind of keeping your cards close to your chest. And I do feel that with the Seven of Swords next to the Justice, you are going to have to be a little tight-lipped about your plans. You can't let everybody know what you got going on. You are going to have to kind of be a little hush-hush. Let people ask, what's Taurus up to? Have you heard from them? Let people wonder. You need to stay very low about some shit right now. What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals is the Fool. You are primed, Taurus, to open up a new beginning. So I just want you to know that there is something new unfolding for you, a fresh start, something you haven't experienced before that is unfolding for you. And you've really kind of taken it on the chin in terms of getting to this point. So it hasn't all been for nothing, Taurus, okay? If this is connecting with you, drop some comments below. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and rising as well. Let's go ahead and move on to Gemini. All right, Gemini. What have you released? We've got the Two of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles is balancing of finances, balancing of priorities, juggling a lot of things. I look at released in terms of what have you released and let go of, and also what have you released out into the world. So I feel that you are actually calling in greater balance and more management of your priorities personally. I feel like that's what you've released out into the world, releasing this energy of like, okay, let me just try to juggle all these things. Let me try to keep all my balls up in the air. I don't think you're failing at it. I think you're finally finding your rhythm. Does that make sense? Where you are now is the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups does represent the water signs, Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio, but it also represents being very sensitive. Sometimes the Page of Cups also represents happy surprise, and sometimes children. It's just one of those cards that I feel like just mean a ton of things. In your particular reading, I am sensing that it is about you kind of opening up. I'm seeing like a little box, like a little old, like a rusty box of like emotions that you've packed inside this little tin box. And now you're finally willing to explore those feelings and express them after having shoved them down and repressed them for so long out of just like trying to maintain all the balls that you have in the air. So I would not be surprised if you feel very emotional under this new moon, Gemini, okay? This could also be you needing to care after a child. I just don't think that's the message. I just feel like you're wearing your heart on your sleeve this new moon. Like you've been juggling a lot of things and now your heart is like right here, and you're just letting it rip. What is emerging within you? We have the Strength card, which does represent the sign of Leo in case Leo is important to you. The Strength card is also very similar to the Nine of Wands, a message of resilience and perseverance. It is like gathering up all that you have in your tank to kind of get you through a really tough period, a tough time. It's also being humble. It's also being kind, being kind of like that balanced energy of like aggression and gentle. It's kind of like the lion and the lamb kind of energy. I really just feel like in terms of what's emerging within you, you're tapping into unknown strength to push through what feels like an emotionally difficult period. And just to add on to the emotional here, in terms of what you wish to grow, we've got the Five of Cups here. Five of Cups is grief, sadness, loss, isolation. It's often depicted as like this card where you have like all these cups knocked over, but the person doesn't realize in the traditional tarot that there's like a couple cups left behind them, like not all is lost. So it's important to remember that, Gemini. But however, in this reading, in this new moon reading, what you wish to grow, I feel that you want, either you want to be alone or you want to move through a period of grief. You want to mourn something or someone properly. I don't think you're trying to shy away from it here. I feel that you're actually in a position where you want to deal with all of the emotions that you've stuffed down. Does that make sense? I'm really getting the sense here, Gemini, when you're in a survival mode, and I'm thinking of like that show Alone, when you're in survival, and just even like things that I've been through, when you're in a period of survival, you can feel very numb to anything that doesn't have to deal with your actual livelihood. Okay, anything that doesn't contribute to your well-being, your health, your sense of security, anything else you could give a fuck about. And I feel that because you're actually figuring out how to balance your life, now you've got to deal with all these emotions, okay? And so now that you're dealing with them, you want to really kind of move through it properly, like I was saying. You're not shying away from it now that you have the time to deal with it and unpack what you've been stuffing down. How you can bring your goals to fruition. We've got the Wheel of Fortune. So I do feel that there is some money, a payout, a windfall that is helping you to feel a little less stressed financially. And I think this, whatever, if you were waiting on money, if you were waiting on some sort of payday or some sort of big moment, finally having this come through is what is allowing you to feel like, okay, now I can actually like unpack all this bullshit. So like imagine, I have a girlfriend who's like, she's a Gemini. I don't know if you see this girl, hey. She is in the process of buying a house. I don't really know what else she's going through, but I'm just going to use, I mean, I do, but I'm just going to make some stuff up with her using her scenario. She's trying to buy a house. So that process is very, very stressful, specifically in New York. Okay. And she's got a lot going on that she's juggling. And imagine that, like, you know, she has like a grandfather that is sick. She may not be able to compartmentalize how to deal with, you know, that sickly family member because she's so focused on buying this house and like it's now or never type energy that once, okay, finally she gets that resolved. Now she can deal with the grandfather that's sick. Does that make sense? Does that make sense? Very heavy on the compartmentalization. You've been really compartmentalizing a lot, but I think this new moon is allowing you to really pull back the curtain and be like, okay, this is what we now need to deal with, okay? What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the 8 of Wands, which is things moving quickly, things speeding up, going forward. Now, if things have felt stagnant, when you see this 8 of Wands energy, Gemini, things are about to pick up for you. Things are about to move quickly. And what's really important to know about the 8 of Wands is that this is not the time to just take things at your own pace. You have to keep up the pace. You have to figure out how to keep up with the crowd, because if not, you are going to fall behind. When this card appears, you don't really have a choice but to kind of stay with it. Does that make sense? You don't really have a choice. So you really just need to figure out how to keep up with everything that is about to unfold for you. Okay. I hope this is helpful. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch your moon and rising as well. Drop some comments below. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Cancer. Cancer. Oh. Okay. What have you released? Queen of Swords. Now, I look at released in terms of what have you released out into the world, but also what have you released in terms of let go of. When we see the Queen of Swords here, this is air sign energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius. So potentially you have let go of a air sign in your life. Now, in terms of energetically, what have you released? Maybe you're putting out this energy that is a little bit more cerebral, a little less emotional, which is your natural state. You're trying to look at things logically. You're not trying to lead with your emotions. You're being very perceptive and analytical. paying attention to what people do, not just what they say. Okay. You're kind of in this very like cut and dry energy, not wanting to deal with people's bullshit. You know, Cancer, you're just like, I've had it up to here with holding the space. Okay, you have had it up to here holding space for people, and now you're just like, get to the point. What do you need? What do you want? Okay, boom, next. You know, you're just in this very like cut and dry energy. Okay. Where you are now, we have the World. The World is major accomplishments and chapters closing. Usually significant achievements, but it's usually, it's usually about things you've been working towards for quite a while. There could be a lot of things for you guys, but let's just try to clarify what this might be for you, for the World. What is this for Cancer? We have a gift. Okay, a gift is coming to you, Cancer. Lovely. Something maybe I really have a sense that you've been working towards something for a long time. So you're due for a win. Love to see that here. Something's being gifted to you. Something you've wanted, something you've been working towards. What is emerging within you? Three of Wands, which is progress, next level, waiting on your ships to come in. I feel that whatever is being gifted to you under this new moon, Cancer, remember that Jupiter is in your sign. So this is like your lucky year, okay, until like next summer, give or take. So things are really kind of going to be on the up and up for you. The Three of Wands is like when you're waiting for your ships to come in, you're waiting for your flight, you're waiting to take off. So for me, what's emerging within you, you're preparing for that next level. You're preparing to take flight. You know, okay, I'm about to go on this trip, whether literally or energetically, and you're getting your ducks in a row to make the most of that venture. Does that make sense? However, we have what you wish to grow is the Six of Cups. This could represent a lot of things here, guys, with the Six of Cups. Now, the first thing that comes to mind for me is an apology. You want to reconcile with someone. The Six of Cups is apologies. It's reminiscing, thinking about the good old days, looking to the past. But it is, like I said, apologies. It is making amends. It does relate to children as well. So perhaps you want to grow your connection with children, grow your connection with family. But I really get a strong sense whenever I see this card, it's usually about making amends with family, making amends with people close to you is usually what it is. But again, could there be a message here of like wanting to grow children, wanting to make some babies, wanting to conceive? Sure. I don't have the Empress here, but it's possible. Okay. The Empress is what I would look to if you were really wanting to lean into motherhood and wanting to, or just parenting in general, regardless of your gender. I really think it's like making amends with, I really do. I think this is about reconciliation and making amends. How you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition. We've got the Two of Swords. This is really interesting because the Two of Swords is indecision. And you guys know I don't use reversals in this deck. So if I had seen this reverse, I might be thinking that, okay, you need to finally make a decision on something that you've been going back and forth about, which for me still is the message here. Like you need to choose. Are you going to stay or are you going to go? Are you going to go up or are you going to go down? You need to make a decision for yourself so that you can figure out how to move forward with someone or with a company, with a project or whatever. Because see, you're advancing, Cancer, and I think the biggest question is how does someone or something fit into your life with your ascension? Does that make sense? That's what you're having to figure out. What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Eight of Swords here. And again, I don't use reversals in this deck, but I am looking at this position of like needing the swords to fall out of kind of like the victimhood. You need to stop feeling like you're the victim. You need to stop feeling like you're trapped, like everybody's against you. The sooner you stop feeling like the victim, Cancer, the faster your life is going to take off. The sooner you stop blaming everybody for why shit is fucked up in your life, the sooner your life is going to improve. And I'm not saying that you're the problem. I'm not. But I am saying you got to stop blaming everyone for what you've allowed. And maybe indirectly that is saying you're the problem, but I don't really think that is. Because I feel like to insinuate that someone is the problem would mean that there's self-work to do, that they're toxic, da da da. But allowing behavior is not necessarily being problematic because you want to see the good in people. You want to see the good in circumstances. But I guess what I am saying is you need better boundaries, okay? So that you don't always feel like the victim, because you give people the benefit of the doubt. You give people a chance to be better, and you always want to nurture. You always want to soothe. You always are likely attracting narcissists because you just feel like you want to make their lives better. But you have to remember that that includes you needing to have boundaries, Cancer, because that's how we got here, right? You got to have boundaries, babe. I really hope I'm making sense with that point. You need to have better boundaries so that you don't feel guilty for your life taking off and maybe considering leaving something or someone behind, and also not wanting to feel victimized for wanting to improve your life. That has nothing to do with you. Anyone's insecurities about you wanting to improve your life has nothing to do with you. And I don't know who the fuck I'm ministering to right now, but I hope it's resonating. You can't turn down your life to make someone else more comfortable, because then you're blocking your blessings, you see? I hope that's helpful, baby. I really do. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and your rising as well. Drop some comments below, and let's move on to Leo. Hello, my beautiful Leos. Okay, what have you released? Wheel of Fortune. Boom. Bada bing, bada boom. Okay? Wheel of Fortune, divine timing, good luck, good karma, and good fortune. So I look at released in terms of what have you put out into the world, and also what have you let go of. Now, I don't think that the Wheel of Fortune is connecting to what you've let go of. I am looking at this as something that you've released out into the world. So you've released the expectancy of good fortune, and therefore I feel that it is coming to you. And good fortune isn't always in the form of money. It could be relationships, it could be circumstances, it could be relationship, like partnerships or connections, that sort of thing, material items. And that, therefore, where you are now, this actually fell out while I was shuffling, is the Six of Wands. There's something for you to celebrate around this new moon, something for you to feel excited about, something for you to rejoice in. I don't usually use that word with the Six of Wands, but rejoice it is. There's something here around this new moon, Leo, that you are really like, yes, I deserve this. You deserve it. Don't forget to praise God. Okay, because that's a gospel song. Hallelujah belongs to you. My hallelujah belongs to you. Don't forget to praise, okay? I know you guys know I'm a Christian spiritualist over here that looks a lot different from regular Christians, but you know, we're still believers, okay? So you figure out what that means to you, my love. But there's something to rejoice in, something to celebrate this new moon. Now, with that being said, what is emerging within you? We've got the Hierophant. The Hierophant does represent quite a lot of things. It represents being a spiritual teacher, number one. It represents being connected to a spiritual teacher. It represents order, structure, institutions. Think of churches, hospitals, that sort of things. And it also represents the sign of Taurus. So I would like to pick a oracle message to kind of see what this is connecting to for you, because there's so many ways. I don't know if this is the right deck to use, actually, to clarify the Hierophant. Clarify the Hierophant, please. For Leo, what is emerging within Leo? I wish I could have seen how those three just came out. We have the World, Journey, and Deceit. I want you to just pause and take a minute and just think about how these three things can relate to you. Okay, but I mean, this deck often interprets the world as like the World Wide Web and also global connection. It could also represent kind of like major accomplishments, because the world is major accomplishments in the tarot. Journey is travel, going on like, kind of like the Fool, going on a new beginning. And then deceit, it was actually reversed on my table here. I feel like there is an end to deceit, personally. There is an end either to self-deceit or deceit that was around you, or energy that was around you. Negative energy that was around you. But do be careful. Do be careful about, wolves in sheep's clothing. Is that the expression? Wolves in sheep's clothing. Be careful about people that want something from you, things that are too good to be true. I just feel that, Leo, there's a greater level of order and influence coming into your life, is really how I represent, or how I interpret the Hierophant, okay? This could be a Taurus, like I said, so just keep an eye out for that. What you wish to grow is the Chariot. The Chariot does represent the sign of Cancer, in case a Cancer is important to you. Now, the Chariot is also about forward momentum. It is heavy on that journey card, right? That journey energy. The Chariot to me is, not to me, just in general, it represents willpower, determination, getting through obstacles, not giving up. Very similar to that resilient energy of, the Strength card of Leo. But it's also, for me, a message about like transportation, and also a message of actually moving, actually relocating. However, I'm really just seeing this as advancement. You really just want your life to take off. You want to look forward. You don't want to look back. You've got some things to be excited about. And I feel like your life is just reset on a new trajectory that you are focused on and locked in on. How you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition. We have the Eight of Pentacles. You're locked in, Leo. You are locked the fuck in. You are really focused on the hard work that you want to do, that you need to do in order to kind of stay the course. And I just see you focusing on the plan, on the path, and discipline and dedication. What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Two of Wands, which is looking towards the future, getting organized and planning ahead. Getting your ducks in a row. Figuring out what's possible for you. Figuring out which path you want to take to achieve said goals. Which path you want to take on this journey. Leo, baby, your life is about to do a 180. And you just need to lock in. You really need to lock in, babe. That's really all I have. And you hear me? Okay. That's really what the message is for me. Lock in, babe, because you're about to receive an unprecedented amount of momentum, and you really need to ride this wave correctly. Okay? Okay, Virgo. All right, my love. What have you released? We have the Six of Cups. Now I look at I look at what have you released in terms of what have you released out into the world, and also what have you released in terms of let go of. Now, the Six of Cups does represent the past, reminiscing, looking back, looking at the good old days. It does represent friends and family that you are close with or have, grown up with in some way, or have had some sort of like life growth connection with, right? So I feel that in this position, though, a lot of times the Six of Cups does represent reconciliation. I feel that there was some sort of apology or some sort of reconciliation that has already happened. So maybe it's somebody that you were mad at, that you were upset with, that you finally come to terms with, or you've settled with. Or maybe you just spent time with family, so now you're kind of off that and you're now future focused. Which brings me to where you are now, which is Empress. Empress is living in that abundance, living in that luxury, living in the trappings of a beautiful, well-kept life. It is also motherhood. It is just really living that abundant, lavish, nurturing, soft life. Truly. Okay? What is emerging within you? Now, where you are now could also point towards your mom. Maybe you're spending time with your mom. I don't know. What is emerging within you? We've got the 9 of Wands, perseverance, resilience, not giving up. There's something that is requiring you to not give up on in your life, something that you're usually at your wit's end about, something you're just like, oh, I don't know how much longer I can keep going through this. I don't know. Keep whatever the first thing is that comes to mind to you is most likely whatever Spirit's trying to give you that message on. So don't give up. You're really close to the finish line. Keep pushing. What do you wish to grow? We've got the Justice card here, which does represent the sign of Libra in case a Libra is close to you. Now, the first thing I thought of, Virgo, I'm going to be so honest with you, was actually marriage. Now, the Justice card does represent legalities and, you know, the justice system. The first thought that, I'm being so honest, the first thought that came to mind was marriage. I don't know if some of you guys are going to be anticipating engagement. I kind of feel like there's a message around marriage here. Separately, the Justice card is about balance, fairness, getting what you deserve. So you're wanting to maybe use the justice system or legal system to your advantage somehow, or want to fight for what you believe is just for you or fair for you, wanting to right or wrong, wanting, like I said, wanting to get what you deserve in some way. How you can bring your goals into fruition, how you can manifest that justice is through judgment. Some of you guys might be dealing with a court case. I told myself, you know what, I say this all the time. I talk about 1,000 things I'm going to do. If any of you guys are going to do, like, going through a court case, there's a spread that I have pinned on Pinterest that is specifically about a court case. I might do that monthly for anybody who's just going through legal issues, just a collective court case message. But if you need that advice, just, you know, email me or set up a session and we could figure out how your case is going to go, if that's important to you. But the judgment card is awakening, ascension, answering the call, needing to kind of make a determination of, like, it's usually when you're at a breaking point where you're at a crossroads and you have to figure out, okay, am I going to go left or right? You're waiting to determine how something's going to work out for you. You're being judged. You're being kind of like scrutinized now for how you've been living your life up to this point, how you've been operating, right? Now, this could manifest in a lot of different ways. Maybe it's more of a heart-to-heart conversation that you have with a loved one, of like this judgment cards, in terms of how you can bring your goals and intention to fruition. Maybe it's having a come to Jesus moment with your loved one of like, okay, like, what are we doing? Are we getting married or not? What are we doing? Are we separating or not? What are we doing? Are we going to fight this legal battle or not? Like, there needs to be a moment, like, it's a very come to Jesus moment. Like I said, it's a breaking point. Or you and maybe someone else have to figure out, what are we going to do? Are we going to stay here and take it lying down? Or are we going to fight? Are we going to rise to the occasion? Okay. What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Knight of Swords. The Knight of Swords is air sign energy, Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, which is, I lost my spread. Oh. Libra, Gemini, Aquarius, which is, could be important here to you, but it's also about doing things quickly, operating off of intellect, being really ambitious, moving at the speed of light. Like, you need to kind of move fast. You don't really have time to kind of wait, decide, consider your options. You kind of have to take information and run with it. And I kind of feel like that's where you are. If there's something that you need to get done, you don't have a lot of time to sit on it, right? I also feel like there's this collective energy too, Virgo, of like you needing to make some moves before eclipse season gets here. I mean, I know it's like literally right around the corner, but there is an energy of you needing to kind of get some things in motion quickly. Don't spend too much time dilly-dallying, okay? I hope this is helpful. If you are watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and your rising as well. Drop some comments below if you find this helpful, and let's go ahead and move on to Libra. Ooh. Oh my God, Libra, this is a little wild. This is a little wild. What the fuck? Let's lock in. Let's lock in. Okay, here we go. What have you released, Libra? We have the Ace of Swords. The Ace of Swords is new ideas, new information, communication. I look at this position as what have you released in terms of what have you put out in the world, and also what have you released in terms of let go. Now, I'm just going to interpret this for both. If you're feeling like you've released ideas like let go, I just kind of feel like this is more about you've taken the time to kind of process new ideas, process new informations, and now maybe you're in execution phase, right? Or if this is release, maybe you've put out some communications, you've reached out to people, maybe you're in the process right now of gathering information or trying to find ideas, right? Like you're just trying to absorb things. It might be one or the other. So you decide which kind of space you're in, but either way, this isn't a negative at all. Where you are now is the Two of Cups. The Two of Cups does represent partnerships, unions, and connections. Now, most oftentimes this is connected to romantic partnerships, but it can relate to business and platonic as well. I think there's a significant partnership that you're focused on right now, that you want to build, that you want to grow. I'd love to see that here. You're really kind of enveloped in that right now. However, what is emerging within you is the Five of Cups. Now, the Five of Cups is grief, sadness, and loss. I want to figure out, let's kind of determine here if that is related to this Two of Cups. Like, are you in the throes of a romance that is going to end, or is this grief, sadness, and loss completely unrelated? So let's kind of figure out what that is for you, Libra. High Priestess coming out here. Something that you might be intuitive about, or maybe have received intuitive hits about. This could be someone who is highly intuitive, highly spiritual. What is this Five of Cups related to for Libra, please? The Emperor. We have Aries energy here, but also a father figure energy here. Someone who is a father, someone who is in charge, someone who is very much a leader. What do you mean by the Five of Cups? The Hangman just came out, literally on top of the Emperor. Somebody is going to kind of leave you hanging on a string, Libra. I feel like there's a partnership that you feel like is going really well, and then all of a sudden you're kind of like ghosted. I do feel like you see this coming, though. I don't think this is blindsiding you, if I'm being completely honest. There's a chance this is completely unrelated to this connection, okay? There's a chance. What is this Five of Cups about for Libra? We've got distant horizons coming out. Maybe this is somebody who's a bit far from you. Maybe this is a connection you were trying to build with someone overseas, but someone who's just kind of left you hanging. Okay, we'll leave that there. So in short, expect some sort of disappointment around this new moon. And here's the thing, y'all. I never say these things to... What I'm not about is toxic positivity. I am a light worker, and I do my best to bring love and light into your life. I really do. But life is also some bullshit. Can we just be honest about that? And so what I'm not about to do is try to convince you, oh, it's going to be a great new moon for you and you're going to expect like that's not my channel. There's like a bunch of other people that you could go to and you could watch who are going to feed you that fucking toxic positivity, but that's just really not how life works, and that's not what I aim to do for you. I want to prepare you for these moments so that when it happens, you know how to move through it, not so that you're completely blindsided. I literally want to help you in this life, and if I can help you brace for a potential letdown, that is what I want to do. Do I want you to anticipate a potential letdown? No. I want you to receive this information and say, okay, we may have some Five of Cups moment pop up. This might even completely be somebody else in your life. This Five of Cups might even be somebody else that's going through grief that you have to hold their hand through, right? There's an infinite number of ways that this can be interpreted. So I never want you to take these readings like as Bible. right? Because psychic readings and interpretations can vary, right? But I'm not going to ever be the reader that says, oh, it's just about to be amazing, just like, because that's just not life. That really just isn't life. Okay, let's move on. What do you wish to grow? We have the world here, which is major accomplishments and achievements and chapters closing. So there's something that you want to kind of like be done with. Usually the world represents something you've been working on for quite a while. So there's something for you here, Libra, that you're ready to just be done with. And I don't mean be done as in like wash your hands of it. I just mean it in a way where you're like, okay, I've done my job. I'm ready to move on, and move on to the next thing. A lot of times think of like graduations, think of like party plannings, think of relationships, think of jobs, anything that you've invested a significant amount of time into, okay, is what you're ready and preparing to move on from. How you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition. We've got 3 of Cups here. So you are going to be reliant upon your friends and potentially family to help you close any chapters that you want to close. Does that make sense? What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Tower. The Tower is about upheaval, chaos, and change, sudden change. It's not always negative. The Tower isn't always negative, the sudden change, the sudden, kind of like whiplash, if you will. What I'm seeing here in this position is that you can use this sudden change to your advantage. I don't usually interpret the Tower this way, but there might be a moment that happens or a circumstance that happens around this new moon that completely uproots your life, where maybe you were trying to keep things stable, right? Like, oh, I just want to keep things like how they are, and da 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 da. But then something happens that just turns everything on its head, and you can actually use it as an opportunity to change a lot of other things as well. So one thing I'm thinking about here is, okay, fuck with me here, but this is what's coming through my head, okay? Imagine you've been like paying off your debt, you've been increasing your credit, and you've been doing everything you need to do to try to get your credit back in a better position and improve your finances. And then all of a sudden, maybe you're living at your mom's house, and all of a sudden you get kicked out of your mom's house. Now, you weren't necessarily ready for that, but while you were at your mom's house, you were also using her vehicle to get to and from work. And you were also, of course, not having to pay any money there, or maybe less money. It was really a significant and good situation for you. But now she's kicking you out, and now you're in a position of fuck, I need to like really figure out my situation. Now, the great thing is you've been working on your credit. So guess what? Your credit is in a good position now or better position to apply for financing for a car, apply for an apartment or whatever, compared to a few months ago. Is that what you want right now? No, you're being kind of thrown into this, but you're taking the opportunity to do all of it at once instead of, let's say you get the car first, maybe that, brings your credit down, or I don't fucking know. Or maybe you get the apartment first and that could affect your credit. Versus if you kind of apply to everything at once, you're in a better position to kind of get approved for a lot of things at once and go from there. Is that making sense? Now, this could be applied to any other scenario, but I'm just trying to give you an idea of how you could use sudden change to your advantage. I'm trying to think of other scenarios, but I can't right now, and I hope that's helpful enough. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and your rising as well. It does appear, Libra, that this new moon in Virgo is going to throw you for a loop. But I think you should really lean on your friends and family for support, okay? I love you so much. Drop some comments below if this is resonating. I'll see you on the next one. Okay, I wasn't recording. That's cute. Hi, Scorpio. Just make sure, okay. What have you released? 2 of Wands. I look at release in terms of what have you let go, and also what have you put out in the world. Now, the 2 of Wands is about planning, looking towards the future, and also just planning, right? So I feel that you have likely finished a planning phase and are now looking at how to execute the said plan. Like, I think the plan is done. The new plan of whatever you want to do is set in place. You've tweaked it, or maybe there's still some minor adjustments to make, but for the most part, you've got it laid out. You're done with the planning phase. You just wrapped up. Now, where you are now is judgment. Okay, judgment is awakening, ascension, answering the call. So now you're at a point where you have to decide what is it you're going to do, what path you're going to take. This is different from the Two of Swords, because the Two of Swords is like, oh, should I date this guy or should I not? The Judgment card is different because you already know what you're dealing with. You already know, right? The Judgment is like, okay, I know what I'm getting with this guy. I've been in a relationship for this motherfucker for X amount of months, versus, am I ready for something new? Do I think I can move on? Do I think there's something better on the other side? Right? You have more information at the Judgment phase versus the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords, there's anxiety with the indecision because you don't know what's on the other side. You see my point? Anyway, what is emerging within you? I'm not finished with that thought. I decided. Where you are now, going back to the Judgment, you're just trying to discern what path is now best for you, given the plans that you know you have created, okay? Now, what is emerging within you? Your card always seems to come out in every one of our readings together. We've got the Death card, which represents Scorpio. It's transformations, it's endings, and of course, new beginnings. So there is a change happening in your life now, but I mean, you're a Scorpio, so changes are always happening. Let's look at where this change is happening in your life, Scorpio. Something has... Do I say that every time in our readings together? Changed within me. Hard work. Change maybe to your work environment. Something is not the same. I'm through with playing by the rules of someone else's game. The Lovers is also coming out here. Could potentially be Gemini energy, but also maybe dealing with a connection, romantic or platonic or otherwise. There is an ending here, something that has felt... You know what's interesting here? The original message of this is poverty. Now, for me, Scorpio, what is emerging within you? We've got this ending here, but for me, it's more about you're moving on from something you are no longer reaping the benefits of. Like, there's a connection here that you were no longer getting anything out of. You were in poverty, energetically, emotionally, maybe even financially, dealing with somebody or something, okay? So there's an ending here, okay? However, what you wish to grow is Six of Cups. You want to reconcile, you want to go back to the past, you want to go back to the way things used to be. Scorpio, I feel that there's a very reminiscent energy about you. And even looking at the Six of Cups here, I don't necessarily think that this is about you wanting to go back to an old flame or you wanting to like go back to where you used to live. I think there's an energy that you're chasing right now. You liked the way things were. And let me tie that to astrology here, because we are about to have Saturn go back in Pisces for another 5-6 months, which I'm really not looking forward to as a fire sign, but maybe you are as a water sign. With Saturn going back into Pisces, I want you to do some research on your own about what that means, but I feel like you might have tried some shit out this summer that you decided, that's not for me. And I feel like you want to get back to a version of yourself, get back to... I'll keep it there. Get back to a version of yourself that you felt more comfortable with. And when I look at the Six of Cups, that's what that really means to me. Could this mean going back to an old relationship, going back to family and friends, doing reconciliation? Yes, of course. But to me personally, I think this is representative of getting back to an old version of yourself with the wisdom you now have presently. Does that make sense? Okay. How can you bring your goals and intention to fruition? Three of Pentacles. We've got teamwork, collaboration, working together. So maybe there's some people, some colleagues that you can lean on at work, but the Three of Pentacles in general is about teamwork. Doesn't matter if it's just with one person or multiple. There's somebody that can help you figure out how to achieve the goals that you have laid out, okay? Usually professionally, but it could be friends, it could be family, etc. Okay. Now, what additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We do have the Six of Swords, which is about transitions and turning points. Major theme on transitions and making significant changes here for you, Scorpio. This new moon in Virgo is going to be very significant for you. So the Six of Swords is moving towards calmer waters. It's a turning point. It's a shift. You've realized you've done all you can do where you are, and it's time to move on. Okay? This could be in your relationships. This could be in your friendships. This could be in your work environment, in your home life, okay? There's an acceptance and an awareness happening for you around this new moon of you know what? Let me go where I'm valued. Let me go where I'm appreciated. Let me go where I'm respected, because this ain't it, okay? I hope that's helpful. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and your rising as well. I love you so much, Scorpio. I hope you have a lovely new moon regardless. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Sagittarius. All right, Saggy. Okay, what have you released since the full moon? We have the Two of Swords. The Two of Swords does represent indecision and, going with this or that. I was just describing to Scorpio that mostly because they had the Judgment card. So I was describing the difference between the Judgment and Two of Swords. Judgment is where what's in front of you. And so you have to choose, right? The Two of Swords is indecision because there's anxiety of the unknown. And there's a little bit of anxiety with Judgment as well, but not as much. The Two of Swords is really just if I go with this relationship, then I lose this, or I do that. Or if I go with this job, then I'm cutting myself off to X, Y, Z. There's really fear of the unknown with the Two of Swords. You don't have enough information. And with that being said, Sagittarius, I think you've finally made a choice, usually with the Two of Swords, something you've been going back and forth over. You finally decided, okay, I'm just going to, take the plunge and I'm going to go in this direction, right? But now that you have done that, whatever you finally decided on, you are now in the position of the Queen of Wands. You finally feel like you made the right call for yourself. You manifested a better outcome than you could have imagined. Queen of Wands is fire sign energy, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius. Maybe you're dealing with another fire sign. You're feeling very charismatic, feeling very bold, feeling like a great manifester right now. There's a little bit of feeling like you're on top of the world right now. You feel like, yes, I'm glad it worked out for me. I manifested this. I created this. Feeling very, very good in what you chose for yourself. What is emerging within you is the Two of Cups. We've got partnerships here, partnerships and union. This could be romantic, of course. Usually it is, but it could also be platonic or a business partnership that is coming into the forefront. Usually when this card comes into play here, it's that you are focused on a connection. Coming up soon, you're going to be kind of wrapped up in, I'm hearing Anita Baker. Okay. Caught up in the rapture of love. Okay. Yes, a little Anita. A little Anita. I bet the fucking body alright. She says she wants some Marvin. Some Luther Vandross. A little Anita. But definitely set this party alright. You know that song, gotta be, well. Okay, you guys get it. The point is, I feel like you're in a really good position. You're going to be caught up with a partnership. Again, romantic, business, platonic, friendship, or whatever. That's going to be taking up a lot of your time and energy over these next 2 weeks. Love that for you. What do you wish to grow? We've got the Devil here. Now, I'll be so honest with you, Sagittarius. The Devil does represent the sign of Capricorn, okay? So there could be a connection to a Capricorn here. However, being that it is right next to the Two of Cups, okay? You trying to be hunching, okay? You trying to be hunching this person. You trying to get after it. You trying to really grow the passion, get caught up in the raptures. You really want to build the physical and maybe even emotional intimacy with this person. I feel like you really want to let passion take over. Love that for you. You're wanting the intimacy to grow with this connection. How can you bring your goals and intentions to fruition? We have the Five of Pentacles. This is really interesting. I was not expecting this card here. I wasn't really expecting any card, but I wasn't expecting this card. Because the Five of Pentacles represents going without, feeling abandoned, feeling like you don't have what you need, feeling lack of resources, right? So in the position of how can you bring your goals and intention to fruition, I admittedly need a second to process that. So let me see. Because for me, I guess like when I initially saw it, I said, okay, maybe is the message that Sagittarius needs to come out, because you guys don't know, I don't know that I don't use reversals in this deck. So when I think about this position, is it that you have to allow yourself to come out of a drought, come out of lack, come out of feeling like a loser? Do you have to come out of this feeling of not enough and lean into the abundance of love, abundance of pleasure? I'm hearing Beyonce, Love Drought. You and me can build a mountain, you know? You and me could stop this love drought, is what I'm hearing. Y'all know this song? You and me can build a love drought. I'm ruining the song. Cause she kind of, it's like a whisper. It's like a whisper high note. Every night I know you're lying, but I'm trying to be fair. Looky there, are you aware? It's from Lemonade. I'm like, the lyrics are escaping me right now. Which still, okay, it doesn't matter. Look it up. What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Emperor. This is Aries energy, but this is also taking charge, right? This is about taking up space, going after what you want. This is also very masculine energy, fatherhood energy. Maybe a dad is important to you. Maybe you are a dad. Maybe there is a father of your child that you can lean on or for support. But there feels to me like somebody in authority, somebody who's very confident, somebody who's really well seated in their masculine energy that you can lean on for support, or it is you embodying this energy, right? Taking up space, being really confident, kind of like really tapping in. Basically, Sagittarius, I'm gonna be so for real with you. I feel like life is going pretty well for you, and now you're just about to play. You're just about to play, okay? You know what I mean by play. I really hope that goes well for you. If this doesn't connect, no worries. If you're watching for your sun, watch your moon and your rising as well. Maybe those messages connect a little bit more, because this feels like a very specific message. I love you so much, Sagittarius. Let's see what we get for Capricorn. Capricorn, I love this energy for you. I mean, you're hard at work, that's for sure, but it's going to pay off. What you have released since the full moon is the World. The World is major accomplishments and chapters closing. I don't use reversals in this deck, but I feel that this is a little bit more of the reverse position of the World. The position here in terms of what you have released is being considered, at least for me, in terms of what have you put out in the world, but also what have you released and let go of. Now, for me, the reason why I say that I feel that this is the reverse position for you is because when we see the World reversed, it's more about like preparing to move on. Like you're tying up loose ends before you can close out a chapter and move on to the next thing. Because where you are now is Nine of Wands. It's perseverance, willpower, and resilience. And I don't think that you would need so much resilience if you were already finished with something, unless you've got multiple things going on. That's why I say that. So you've begun the end stages of closing out a chapter in your life. Does that make sense? Within the past 2 weeks. The world can, of course, represent travel. It can represent being connected to people globally. It could represent tying up a project that you've been working on, something that you've been putting a lot of effort into for a while. So maybe you're done with that thing. Maybe you were planning something or working hard towards a big goal. Maybe you are done with it and now you're trying to persevere towards something else. But that's really the energy of here. It's like you don't really have a lot of downtime. As soon as one thing ends, you're on to the next. Does that make sense? What is emerging within you is the Hierophant. This is Taurus energy, in case a Taurus is important to you. But the Hierophant does represent spiritual teachers. It represents structures and institutions. Think churches, organizations, nonprofits, universities, those sorts of things. So it does represent order and structure here as it relates to those facilities. So I feel that you are wanting to regiment your life in some way under the umbrella of some sort of organization. Does that make sense? This could also be that maybe you are leaning into your spiritual intuition, leaning into that spiritual teacher within yourself. Maybe you're teaching yourself, like learning a lot of spiritual lessons for yourself, or becoming an advisor or a teacher to other people spiritually. Okay. What do you wish to grow? We have the Nine of Cups here. You just want to be happy. Just want to be happy. I feel like you're just working on your happiness right now and really discovering what that means for you at this time and figuring out what makes me happy. Maybe, and you're giving yourself permission to allow that to look different than what brought you joy and what brought you happiness a year ago, even 3 months ago, you know? How can you bring your goals and intentions to fruition? We have the Eight of Pentacles, which is hard work, dedication, and mastery. So that's why I'm like, there's really no breaks for you. You're just really hard at work, but it is paying off, okay? And Eight of Pentacles is also about perfectionism as well. So be careful not to go too far off on the deep end into perfectionism and needing everything to be just so, you know? What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Queen of Pentacles. And this is really, for me, your energy, believing in yourself, because this does represent the earth signs, Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. But this could also be the presence of another earth sign in your life or somebody who is financially independent and able to support you in some way. To me, this feels like a very business-focused reading these next 2 weeks, and I'm not surprised because you're an earth sign. This is a new moon in Virgo, so you're very locked in on structure, routine, order, getting things done. How do I make myself happy in the midst of all that? You know, you're really trying to like get your life together, as all of us are, but you more so maybe than the rest of us. I hope that's helpful for you, Capricorn. If you're watching for your sun sign, go ahead and watch for your moon as well. Before we go, though, I'm actually going to just clarify the Hierophant for you. I want to clarify the Hierophant in terms of what is emerging with you. Please clarify the Hierophant for Capricorn. Okay, look. So first of all, Journey came out, but then also these other things wanted to come out as well. So Journey is what I saw first in relation to the Hierophant. Okay, what's emerging within you? So we've got Journey, so potentially a trip coming up. We have Distant Horizons, and then also Gift. You may be gifted with a trip coming up soon, Capricorn, or maybe an opportunity to connect with people from far away from you, related to an organization or a group of people, or some sort of maybe spiritual enlightenment, maybe even a wellness retreat. That's a reach, but maybe. Okay, I hope that's helpful, Capricorn. Drop some comments below. I'm going to go ahead and move on to Aquarius, but watch your moon and your rising as well, okay, babe? Bye. Hello, Aquarius. I don't know why I felt the need to be so dramatic like that. I don't know. Okay, here we go. What have you released since the full moon? We've got the Three of Swords. So maybe over the past 2 weeks, something really disappointed you. Something really hurt you. Now, with the Three of Swords here, this would indicate to me that the Three of the Swords would be falling out. We're moving on from hurt and heartache. I don't use reversals in this deck, so I'm just interpreting that in this way. But when I look at released, I look at release in terms of what have we let go of, but also what have we released out into the world. Now for me, because of this, the meaning of this card, which is sorrow and anguish, I'm really reading this here as you've moved through some hurt and now we're moving on, okay? Where you are now is the Three of Wands. We've got next level, you know, expansion and growth. Now we're focused on, okay, you know what? I've got to put this bullshit behind me. I can't wallow here all day. I've got to just look at what's next. The Three of Wands is very much like being aware that you're about to take flight. Like, you know, your plane is there, you're boarding, you just haven't taken off yet. You know, you're anticipating growth and expansion, right? That's just where you are. So with that being said, what's emerging within you is actually the Two of Wands. Okay. Did I mess this up? The way that this, hold on. I want to make sure I'm not confusing you. What if you release is Three of Swords? Where you are now is Three of Wands, waiting on the growth. Now, what is emerging within you is the Two of Wands. So the Two of Wands, it's interesting that these are kind of like reversed instead of like Two of Wands, Three of Wands. But anyway, what is emerging within you is Two of Wands, which is looking to the future, planning, and getting organized. So even though you know, okay, I'm about to be on the next level, I'm about to prepare, now you're just like, okay, I need to plan for this. It's almost as if, like, imagine like, you know, you're about to get on a flight and you know you're not about to have any Wi-Fi, so you're downloading all of your movies, all of the things you want to do, all of the books you want to read for the flight. You want to prepare yourself for what you know is coming. That's where you are. That's the analogy here of, you know, you're about to take off, so you want to make sure you're putting yourself in the best position to enjoy this flight so that you're not bored, twiddling your thumbs, that kind of thing. You're preparing for what you know is to come. Now, what you wish to grow is Seven of Swords. You want to be more strategic. You want to be more savvy. I feel like what's coming to me intuitively, you don't like how many people are, how many people are in your business. That is an intuitive hit. Okay, that literally just came in. So I feel like you want to be a little bit more low key, a little bit more quiet about what you talk about what you do and how you move. So I feel like you want to be a little bit more stealthy, because really this card, a lot of people interpret as deception, as, you know, betrayal sometimes, but I don't think that's the message here. I feel that you actually just kind of want to be a little bit more low key about how you move. I'm thinking of my client who's an Aquarius as well. By the way, if you're interested in becoming a client of mine, description is below. If you want to work with me for 3 months, feel free to do that. Okay. Submit an interest form. So how you can bring your goals and intentions to fruition, how to do that, how to be a little bit more low key, is you're going to have to just be low key, bitch. You're just going to have to be a little hermit for a little bit. You have to allow people to wonder, what's going on with Aquarius? What are they up to? Like, has anybody heard from them? You know, the hermit is about going within to find the answers that you need to seek. Okay. I like how it is in this deck. I don't know if that I will be able to find it so quickly. Let me see. I don't use this deck a lot. It's like a little tiny deck. It's like a purse deck. Let me see if I can find it real quick. I love the imagery so much, but I don't use it often. It's just really, it really is kind of like I have to feel it, which is so strange, again, because I love the imagery. I really do. Maybe it's the size. I think maybe I might get the bigger version of this deck, and I might feel better about working with it. Okay, nope, Six of Pentacles. Why is it, it's always like that? Always at the end of the fucking, anyway. So you see how the hermit, he's like kind of in the tunnel, trying to, you know, just with a little bit of light, trying to get to the top, trying to get to where the illumination is, but still in the darkness, right? So there's this message here, Aquarius, where you're just trying to find your own light. You're trying to find your own way right now, right? But if you don't want everybody in your business, you're just going to have to be a little hush hush. You're just going to have to be a little quiet. Okay? You're going to have to be a little low key. Now, that's not a forever thing. That's just maybe right now, maybe the season that you're in, right? What additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Judgment card. This is determination. This is like a judgment being made upon you. This is a decision that you're either making, or like I said, a decision being made about you or for you. It's Judgment Day. It's like, okay, you're going to have to decide, am I going to move forward? Am I going to continue to be this person, or am I going to make a change? I've been describing throughout this whole video to different signs that the Judgment is very different from the Two of Swords, because the Judgment, you know what you're dealing with. You know this or that. It's usually when you're at a crossroads. But unlike the Two of Swords, where you're a little anxious about making a decision, you don't know what lies ahead. If you go with A, will you regret not going with B? You don't know, right? Whereas with the Judgment, you know what you're dealing with both options, but you now have to choose the lesser of two evils, or you have to decide, am I going to grow or am I going to stay stagnant? Am I going to stay here with the devil I know, or am I going to force myself to change? It's a little bit more overarching, right? Than just making do I go to restaurant A or B, So I say all that to say, Aquarius, you're in a significant period of growth and change, but you're preparing for it. You're not shying away from it. You're just kind of really allowing yourself to kind of fade to black this summer. And you're not really being loud about it. You're not just like, all right, bye, everyone. It's been real. You're just kind of just slowly fading away, allowing people to wonder, what's up with Aquarius? Has anybody heard from them? All the while, you're getting to work, bitch. You're fucking getting to work. You're renovating your whole goddamn life at 3 a.m. And I love that for you, okay? I enjoy this new moon for you in Virgo. I think it's going to be great. I'm proud of you for healing yourself through whatever you've come out of. And there's more to look forward to, I think, with what you've got here. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and your rising as well. I'm going to clear this and we're going to move on to, last but not least, Pisces. Okay, Pisces. Hi, baby. Okay, what have you released? We've got the Death card. Interesting. The Death card does represent endings, rebirth, transformations. It also represents the sign of Scorpio in case you have recently let go or released a Scorpio. Now, when I see this card in this position, I think about what have you released energetically, like what have you let go of, but I also think about what have you released out into the world. Now, for me, this card is signaling that maybe there's an ending that you're putting behind you, maybe something, that I don't want to call it a frustrating experience, because I don't know if this was a frustrating experience for you, and I don't want to assume that all Pisces everywhere has just gone through a really frustrating transformation. Maybe you didn't go through a transformation, but a transformation nevertheless. It seems like, what I'm hearing and feeling? It's feeling like you've had enough of something. This feels like very empowered to me based off what's in front of me, Pisces, that you've decided that you were done with, like you ended something on your own terms. Is genuinely what I'm feeling. Like you were just like, you know what? I'm done with this. I'm not investing in this anymore. I'm ready to put this to bed and I'm ready to move on. Yeah, that's what it feels like to me. Where you are now is the world. So having the Death card in the world here is really significant to me and that's why it feels empowering, because it's a chapter closing. It's a major accomplishment. It's something that you've achieved in your own right, on your own terms, that you're just like, okay, I'm done with this now. I'm done and I get to just move on to the next chapter of my life and put this behind me. It feels very, 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 very empowering to me. The world is also about travel, so maybe you're traveling, maybe you're preparing to travel as well, right? I really do like this energy. If you haven't closed a significant chapter, you're preparing to, you're about to, okay? This could be a major project you've been working on, a party that you're planning, graduation, sending kids out of your house, whatever. It could be like a major chapter that you're closing. Maybe you're becoming an empty nester, I don't know. What is emerging within you is the Six of Pentacles. This is giving and receiving. Now, this is an energy exchange. So you're working on maybe either receiving money from people or giving money. Let's kind of clarify that. Let's clarify and see what comes out of the Kipper deck. I hope that you're receiving money always. Clarify what's emerging for Pisces. Mature man. Maybe there's a mature man involved here. Clarify this for Pisces. What is emerging within Pisces? Okay, we got two cards face down. Bad health and... Okay, cunning. Okay, I want you to be very careful, okay, Pisces, coming up these next 2 weeks. Because we have the Six of Pentacles here, and I want you to pay attention to the imagery. Because it's different from the imagery in the other decks. You see how this man is sitting... It took me a long time to really understand this imagery. You see how he's sitting on the gold, and he's kind of ignoring the people behind him who kind of look like they could maybe use a little handout. you need to be careful about somebody potentially older than you who is maybe robbing you or taking your money unintentionally, or not unintentionally, but like that you're not really aware of. Like you think that maybe you're just helping out, but actually they're using you in some way. So I guess what I'm trying to say is, Pisces, be aware. These are two different messages here, so let me just lock in. Be aware of somebody that's using you, but also this may potentially be about you kind of becoming a little bit selfish for your own self-preservation, because the rest of the cards I see here are pretty positive. So I think maybe there's a portion of you that needs to become a little selfish and kind of withhold for yourself in order to make yourself feel more secure. But there's some sort of energy exchange happening here. I'm going to show it to you in the Light Seers Tarot so you can have a better understanding of this card. Hopefully it doesn't take me 5 years to find it. I really do like how the Light Seers did this card, this deck. Something has changed within me. I think I'm going to watch that later. Six of Pentacles, you see? So when we look at what is emerging within you, like I said, I hope that you're receiving oodles and oodles of money, but sometimes this can also mean that you're shelling out a lot of money too. So you decide which version of that's going to be. You probably already know right now, but just kind of lock in to whichever resonates most with you. What do you wish to grow? The sun, clarity, joy, warmth, happiness. Maybe even wanting to be somewhere warm, wanting to be outside more, wanting to do something that's more fulfilling and playful. Maybe you want to grow your playfulness. The sun also represents children. Perhaps you want to spend more time with children, or children if you have any of your own. Maybe wanting to do more with or for your children. How can you bring your goals and intentions to fruition? We've got the Knight of Pentacles here. This is purely about discipline and dedication. It's about slow and steady wins the race. It's not about how hard you work. It's about how consistently you work. And that is what is likely calling in this, this kind of treasure that you get to sit on, you know? What additional resources are available to you? Hold on before I move on. This could also be your earth sign. Capricorn, Taurus, Virgo. There could be an earth sign that's helpful to you. Okay, what additional resources are available to you as you manifest your goals? We have the Nine of Pentacles here, which is financial independence, luxury, and abundance. So I really want you to lean into this energy and start to kind of get into the mindset, if you're not already, of someone who is luxurious, someone who is abundance and able to experience more than enough. You want to get into that headspace because I feel like that's where you're leaning towards anyway. It's just about really conditioning your mind to believe that you are that version of yourself. We're not talking about being delusional. We're talking about quantum leaping here, okay? Yeah, I like what you're working towards, Pisces. It may feel a little uncomfortable at first, but I like what you're working towards. I really do. I hope this is helpful. If you're watching for your sun sign, watch for your moon and your rising as well. I hope you have a lovely new moon, Pisces. Drop some comments below if this resonates, and I'll see you on the next one. Bye.